Okay, I think we're recording. So I'm going to walk you guys through building a keyword list. When we make a new campaign on Google Search, there's two main things we have to do. We have to make our keywords, we have to make our ads. Those kind of go hand in hand, but the first step we'll look at is here on the keyword side. So what I do first is I'll come into your Google Ads UI. If you come into Tools and Settings, you will find this keyword planner. So under planning, it says keyword planner. This is the Google default one. I look at this first. This is kind of my first stop. So let's say hypothetically we are doing a campaign for like real estate. Let's do real estate. Maybe it's a real estate company in San Francisco. And so what I'll do is I'll come in here and I'll use this tool first, discover new keywords. Be intentionally like kind of varied in the terms that you put in here, because if you're more specific, Google will give you more specific. And so this way you can get like a good variety out of it. If you have a landing page you want to throw in, you can. Make sure you choose your language that you want to target. Make sure you choose your market that you want to target. A lot of times I see it where maybe you target all of the United States, right? And so then you get this keyword data and it shows a lot of people. But really, if we're looking San Francisco, we probably don't care about that, right? We care about people who are in this local area. There's different things, the city, the metro area, etc. So you can come in here, grab the metro area, save that, and then get results. Okay. So it will spit out a lot of data. Usually I like to look at what has the most searches, right? And then you can download this. I export it to Google Sheets just for convenience sake. You can take it to Excel. And I also will use this tool as well. So I will come in here. It's called SEMrush. And you can do the same thing. Usually I will compare these two back and forth a bit. For the sake of today, what I'm going to show you is mostly working with this data here in Keyword Planner. But really, there's a ton of tools where you could go find keyword data, and then I'll show you what to do once you have that data. So again, I like to throw some filters on here. Sometimes you'll have to format this stuff as a number. Okay, then you'll see these things that have the most searches. So hypothetically, if I was a real estate company, I would have to make the call. Do I want to target this Zillow San Francisco term? I don't know, honestly. I probably, for me personally, it depends on every business and your objectives. I think that might not be worth it. If someone's searching for Zillow directly, I imagine they might want to see Zillow. These people are looking for just like general housing terms. So again, I don't know. You have to make the call for yourself. When I start seeing keywords that I like, it's down here. So homes for sale, houses for sale. See, let's maybe take these three. And then these ones, you see how the intent is different for houses for sale San Francisco versus Bay Area home prices. Someone who's wanting to know what the price is, someone is looking for an actual house. So if you're trying to sell a house, I would maybe lean towards these terms that have more intent. And so what I kind of do is I go through this. There are some things where you can maybe say like this. I think all of the words, all of the ones with market, let's back up a second. I think all of the search term or the keywords with market are maybe a bad term for me. Low intent, low intent, low intent, low intent. I'm going to make that a sweeping generality, right? And so now what I might do is I might just exclude all of these. The other thing that you'll see is we get down here to 10 monthly searches. That's less than one a day. I don't really consider myself with those. So let's get rid of this filter. When I work through this keyword list, there will be a point where I stop caring. Looking at this list, it's somewhere around here. I probably wouldn't bother with the stuff below this. Now, if you're working in a niche and it has not as much traffic, sometimes I'll go down to 30, which is about the minimum that I'll look at is 30 a day. Right now, the strategy that I'm using is broader keyword structure. So what I would do is look at these guys that I have. Maybe let's take a few more just so that I can show you. Prices is maybe another term that I would search for and get rid of. Okay. So let's just grab these last ones that I haven't said anything about. In reality, I would go through and look at these in a lot more detail because personally, I want to take these competitor type terms. I don't know if I grabbed anyone else. This one is also low intent, so I would probably not take that. Seems like a competitor. And then I would maybe take this. So what I usually do is you can filter this by color. I used a few, so let's see if I can. I need to change these colors quickly. Okay, so this is what I'm going to work with. You kind of have to know what bid strategy you're going to use. I'm not going to do any manual CPC, so I'm going to ignore some of this stuff. Generally, if I was going to use a manual CPC, I would be working with this data here. So what I do is I'll come in here, I'll make a keyword plan. I like to label my tabs so I know what I'm doing. You can copy these. Now, you have to add the columns you want to work with. So these are going to be my keywords. Next, you need a match type. Next, you need a campaign name. Next, you need an ad group name. Okay. And then what I would do is I would make my plan around how I want to use these keywords. This is a brand new account, we haven't spent in it. What I would probably do here is I would build these out as a phrase. And then I would look for trends here. We used to do single keyword ad groups, and Google with automations, we kind of moved away from that. Right now, what I look for is categories. We still want to maximize our quality score, like we talked about a few weeks ago, but really what we're looking for right now is like the categories of terms. For me, I see two main categories right here. Actually, I see, well, let's go. So I would do, like, first of all, I like naming my campaigns in a way that it tells me something. And we'll talk more about this maybe in a future video, but if it's me, I put my initials on their PD. If you're working for a company like LV Consulting, I'll put an LV just so I know it's one of my campaigns. This is a search campaign, so usually I label search campaigns with SEM like this. Then if there are different categories, this is real estate, I'll probably say real estate. And then I start looking for my categories. So this one is going to be a San Francisco campaign. you'll see a lot of these are going to be San Francisco campaigns. This one is not going to be a San Francisco campaign, so we'll come back to that. This one as well. You could also say maybe condos and homes are too different. I don't really think that's the case. A lot of times a condo buyer would buy a house, or like vice versa. You could go back and forth. But if you really felt that, this might be one that we do want to break out into our own campaign. So maybe instead of real estate, I say commercial. Like that. Then we need these Bay Area ones. So what I would do is I would label this campaign the exact same way, and then I would say Bay Area. You might think it's the same thing, but in reality, it's not. If someone is searching for Bay Area, we need to show them Bay Area copy and creative. If someone is searching for San Francisco, we need to show them San Francisco. If someone is searching for like Richmond neighborhood or something like that, then you need to show them exactly what people are searching for. So in reality, we would treat Bay Area versus San Francisco very different. The same thing here with Oakland. We would put Oakland in front of them. I would probably break this out. Generally, my rule of thumb is separate categories for the ad groups, and then anything you might want to budget separately for, I would put into a separate campaign, right? So maybe commercial real estate has a way bigger paycheck on the back end, so you would spend a lot more on it. Maybe Oakland is a hotter market than San Francisco, so you want to put more money over here on Oakland. It's performing better, so you're going to spend more in Oakland and less in San Francisco. Maybe Bay Area performs better because it's more broad. There's a lot of things that could affect the performance here. And so then I would just like want to be able to allocate spend separately to these separate campaigns. Once I've done that, I usually will filter it. And the reason why I do that is because a lot of times I might just put this one keyword here. And what I do is I cheat a little bit. You can write equals proper or equals upper if you wanted to. I like to do proper, grab this. And then usually on my campaign name or my ad group names, I'll put like a dash phrase and go something like that. Now, for this first one, that works. For these ones, I probably would put all of these into the same ad group. So Bay Area real estate phrase like that. And then what I probably would do these days is put all of these into that same ad group. And so I would have just this one. You see here, we have one. And then down here, and I would probably trim these up a little bit. Like homes for sale, I think you could just say like homes for sale Oakland. I would probably clean it up like that. And then here we get down here. And again, I might put this in its separate campaign or a separate ad group. This I probably would get rid of. I didn't realize that before. And then these others I would probably put into the same ad group. Okay. What I generally do is I'll launch more broad like this. What do I mean by broad? I'll put a lot of keywords with a match type like this phrase, or sometimes broad, but phrases are a lot safer. I'll put these phrase keywords in there. Generally, I won't launch this phrase ad group like San Francisco commercial real estate with just one. I don't know really what else you could put on here, but maybe like an SF version. So you could say like the same thing, just SF. stuff like that. And I would maybe like kind of try to flesh out these ad groups a little bit more. Generally, I would not want just like this one keyword here for Oakland. I would add maybe 3 or 4. Same thing with condos, maybe add a few more. Flush them out, get a lot of broad keywords in here. These days with automation, it works better if we have more packed into one ad group, one campaign. Google has this threshold before you can use efficiency bid strategies, and you need to have 50 conversions. So if you have just one keyword in there, it will take quite a bit of time. So I like to make these like kind of broader ad groups, pack more keywords in there, launch with that. And then once you know the best keywords, I break those out and I make a unique ad experience for it. So let's say hypothetically we spent on this for a while and this keyword right here is the best performer. So what I would then do is I would come in here and I would make an exact. I would change this to be exact. I would keep it in that same campaign, but I would just add a new ad group like this. And then here, I can make my copy hyper-specific for this. We talked about it on the quality score side, but I would make my headline exactly match this. Maybe it can't, because sometimes your keyword is longer than your headline characters. This one you could. I could make that my headline. So go ahead and I would probably do that. But yeah, so this is kind of a good hypothetical about what to do with it. Now, where do we take it? I work here in Google Sheets because you can copy this and paste it into an ad account pretty easily. So let me open Google. So what I do is I take this to Google Ads Editor. It will make you sign in. Okay. Loading, just give me 1 second. Okay, so what do you do with that? I take it into the Google Ads Editor. If you're not familiar with this, go watch the video where I kind of walk through. I come in here to this Keywords tab, and then you can do multiple changes. My data includes campaign and ad groups, and so I'm going to just select that, and then I'm going to paste my data. You can see I kind of have done this before, so I know how to label my columns in a way that I don't have to match anything. You might have to click in here and say like define the column essentially. This is my campaign, etc. If you didn't label it in a way that Google would know, you process that. Finish and review your changes. You can see here are those 4 campaigns that I just built. You can see there's errors on them because you will have to come in here and you'll have to put a budget and you'll have to put all of these settings that Google doesn't just know when you upload it from Excel sheet like that, right? So you have to go in here, you'll have to check all of your campaign settings. You'll have to check all your ad group settings. And then the most important thing is you have to make some ads. And so that's what we'll look at next. The next video we'll do is around writing ad copy, how to add those ads in here. And so stay tuned for the next lesson. But this is the keyword side of it. So I'll talk to you guys soon.